Hey guys, this is Rhino Palace. My in-game WoW name is Doomtron, and I've been wanting to make a video about this server I've been playing for a while now. But I really wanted to delve into it and experience all aspects of it before I reviewed it. I've been playing this server for around 2.5 months. Overall, it's been super fun. It's called TBC 5-man, and as you guessed it, it's a Burning Crusade server where all the raids and content are 5-man. It's a lot like Retro WoW, except there's no pay to win, which is probably my favorite part. So there's no donating for gear, but you can donate for vote points. And the vote points will get you badges of justice or marks of honor, from BGs and whatnot, other miscellaneous things. So technically you have the ability to get gear with those items, but it's nowhere near best in slot, and I really don't mind it. It's if you're a new player and you need to catch up or something, get a a merciless gladiator's weapon or something. It's nothing that makes me salty, how you can donate for full tier 3 on Retro WoW or something. I really like the system he has. It's pretty cool. So I was saying that it's like Retro WoW, but if you're not familiar with the 5-man format, it's essentially WoW X-Packs or vanilla or whatever, just a bit on fast forward. So if you're like me and you still want to raid and do in-game content and take it seriously, but you don't want to sink that much time into it, these kind of servers are perfect, because you still get the satisfaction of getting loot. And just to reiterate, the pay to win really just sabotages that for me, and that's why I can't really play Retro WoW, and that's why Burning Crusade is already my favorite time of WoW, and the fact that there's no pay to win is just awesome. So where normally it would take 3 to 4 weeks playing time to get to SSC and TK, on a server like this, it would take you 3 to 4 weeks real time to get to SSC and TK. Or, for some players, even faster than that. So this server is created, owned, and developed by one guy named Yahtzee. So there's pros and cons with that. The pros are suggestions and ideas, actually get heard by the guy in command. But the cons are, he's only one guy, so only so much can get done in a day. So with that brings me to my next point. The scripting is actually very good, not only for him being a solo dev, just in general. Comparatively to other servers, the scripting is very solid. It definitely has its bugs, but nothing too demotivating or exploitive. Some bosses can be cheesed, but, the community usually reports it back to Yahtzee, or Yahtzee finds out. And I haven't heard of him banning anybody for cheesing anything. It's not like that kind of server yet. I think if it was a big server and people were exploiting bosses and there was GMs and stuff, the ban hammer would be more serious. But considering the project, it's banning people for cheesing bosses with the population that it has is just not really, it's a little counterintuitive, I think. Plus, it's just, in my opinion, it's not that really big of a deal, especially if they report it, But yeah, so there's some bugs that, if you wipe on a pull or something, a mob will stay in a hallway. I'll actually show a clip of what happens. We pulled a pat, and the pat pulled a regular pack, and then we wiped. And then when we came back, there was just a mob standing in the hallway, and it pulls the whole rest of the pack, even though it looks like it shouldn't. So it's just stuff like that. So there'll be some bugs where it's buggy pulls and you wipe to some bullshit, or typical private server stuff. But the sad part about that kind of stuff is if you have 2 days a week that you raid and it's 3 hours, stuff like that can really add up and eat into your time. So that's, pretty inconvenient, but that comes with the territory of playing private servers. There's also some bugs with add-ons and threat meters, and one continuous bug that is probably my least favorite is when you zone in, sometimes you can't see the other players. Oh, that actually reminds me, this server is cross-faction, so you can group up with Alliance and Horde in the same groups due to the lack of population, I believe. I haven't heard anything of that changing when the population grows, but for now that's how it is. Quests and everything work fine. I've leveled up multiple characters and ran into very few bugs. I don't actually even remember any bugs from the quests. Professions start at 300, and I haven't leveled up a profession since he made the change of starting at 300. It used to start at 1, and every time you make something, it would level up by 10. I believe that every time you make something now, it's by 3 or 5. It's one of those two. The economy on the server is a bit shoddy due to the lack of population. However, Yahtzee has put like a bot or something in the game that puts a lot of items on the AH in an attempt to balance things out, which sometimes works, but there's only so much you can do when substituting, like real people. PvP is super fun when you get a queue. It's pretty tough to get queues. And world PvP is pretty much minimal to non-existent because the population is so small and nobody wants to piss each other off. You don't want to, not get groups with people because you've been ganking their alts or something. Arenas come around far and few between. There's not really a 3 scene to my knowledge, but I'd say there's a little over a dozen 2s teams that queue pretty regularly. So this brings me to my final point, the population. This is probably my biggest point. A couple of my real life friends and I started on the server and we made a guild. We built up a pretty good community in our guild, mostly NA players. I'm not sure how much of the pop is NA versus EU or other regions, but in my experience it seems like there's a decent amount of NA players to EU. But at any rate, wherever region people are from, they all seem to be pretty nice. The community, like I said, is small, so nobody really wants a bad rap, or you're not going to find a group. The only rude run-ins I've really had with players are people from this guild called Check Team, and honestly, I don't really even see them on anymore. But yeah, again, to reiterate, the population definitely has a great feeling of everyone knowing each other, and, people tend to help each other out a lot, but, with that, the cons is, even at peak times, it's kind of really hard to find groups for stuff. Peak times, I'd say there's probably, I think the most amount of players I've seen on the server is like 180. And that was a few weeks ago. Lately, it's been around 100. So my biggest con of the server is the population, but it's not only the population, it's the population mixed with the lockout times. So it's 5 days for tier 4 content, and it's a regular 7 days for tier 5 plus. With this amount of population, it's really hard to, even with people with alts, it's tough to fill because the population is so lacking, and the time to, the cooldown time on doing raids is so long that it just doesn't really equate. I'd say that the cooldowns for the raids would be decent if the population was double or, triple the current population. In short, it's a really fun and solid server. The scripting is pretty solid. The raids are super fun to do as 5-mans. There's no pay to win. And yeah, like I said, the main con is the population. And that's totally solvable if you, who are watching this, comes and starts playing. I can speak on behalf of the server. We'd all love for you to come and play. And a quick disclaimer, I am not in any way sponsored or anything by the server. I'm just a guy who is tired of looking for people for raids for hours on end. So thank you guys for watching. Be sure to like the video if you liked it. I'll leave the TBC 5-man site link in the description. So yeah, comment if you guys have any questions or if I forgot anything in this video. And also subscribe if you want more content like this. I'm also a musician and a comedian, so I do skits and music stuff, and I kind of just gonna upload whatever I feel like, whatever I'm interested in on this channel. So there's gonna be a lot of different types of content, if I start consistently making videos. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Much love and peace.